Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
Rebel soul child got a fist ball. I'm a respawn of ancestors and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up. I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless. Yeah, I got next up, right? No, we not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride. You do better keeping it quiet. My pen is ignited, my soul is enlightened. I like who I am, but I'm biased. The palette is right, and my drip is a fountain. I'm not like these regular guys. All of that talk is misguided. She like the way I make the tape print, but the way I make the words play is grim. I'm the reaper reaching for the kill switch. The label cut the check like the bladesman. Something sparking where his brain is. The beat is somewhere where their prayers in. Geronimo, the way I make the bass jump when no parachute is tasted.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Another episode of Throwing Hands. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good, man. Pretty sore, but I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Can't complain. Pretty sore. What's going on? Why you sore?
Oh, I've been training. I've been doing some pretty good stuff. I actually, what was it? Like 2 days ago, I broke my old PR on deadlift. I officially did 400 finally. So I did that. And then yesterday I did boxing class and that kicked my ass. That kicked my
Yeah.
ass. Especially we don't use AC. So that's the hard part.
Oh man. At least the summer's almost over.
Yeah, exactly. Looking nice and cool.
You made it all the way through. I'm sure you're gonna be ready and conditioned very well.
Mhm. I can't wait for
You
the
know?
cold water. I haven't had cold water in 3 months.
See, our water just gets lukewarm over here. It don't ever really get cold.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, mine is. I like to crack the joke. It's either hot or goddamn. Those are only two options.
Right. That cold part don't even work. Oh man, what's up, Little? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Definitely. No, so I mean, let's get right into it. I mean,
Hell yeah.
UFC, we ate our words.
I
We
know.
ate our words. And I don't know, it was kind of surprising to me his after. And of course we're talking about Usman and
Yeah,
Leon Edwards. So were you watching the fight live?
I didn't see it live, but I watched the. I found the whole fight on YouTube. And by the way, I got some Mike and Ike's too, so we could eat our words. No, I
Man,
did see it. I was shocked by it. Like you saw, Usman was just dominating the whole fight. He kept it on him, and he just kept going and going and going. But then Edwards caught him. Edwards caught him.
yeah, and that's the part. And I even saw an interview with Usman the other day, and the dude asked him, like, how do you feel afterwards? And he's like, you saw the fight. He's like, I'm okay with it. I mean, it was a good kick. He got me
Mhm.
with a good shot. It was a really good shot. And watching the fight, Usman dominated every single facet, from stand up to wrestling to ground control to just overall the fight in general. And I don't know, did you see the fight? Did you see the kick?
I did. I did actually use it in one of my thumbnails. That kick. So that's the part. That's especially why I've been wanting to learn kickboxing more too. Like I plan on going kickboxing tomorrow, is because the way they can set up their feints, switch it up, and catch them with something slick like that. Kickboxers are dangerous, bro. They can come out of nowhere, and just seeing how much dominance Usman had all throughout it with his wrestling, keeping him against a clinch. He just kept getting takedown after takedown, and he just kept dominating. Like you look at the stats, and Usman's is probably more, if not probably double, in the amount of strikes landed, the volume, and everything. And Edwards, he just powered it through, and then he just caught him with that clean kick. Like holy hell, that my jaw dropped.
Right,
I got beef
right.
jerky after that. D my words.
Dude, and that was the thing for me. That was the thing for me that was crazy, is because watching it live, I had to like run it back immediately,
Mm-hmm.
because watching it live, the feint was so clean that the kick was hidden live. It was completely hidden live. And when I slowed it down and watched it again, he really threw it almost simultaneously, and that part is what amazed me more than anything. Um, the fact that he was able to get it off at the angle he was able to get it off to where it was still hiding behind the punch. And the other part that was kind of surprising to me watching it back was, to me, throughout the fight, Usman did not really react to almost any of Leon's strikes.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of just blocking, that particular instance. He like really jolted into it, like really jolted into it, and that what was surprising to me too, because he wasn't reacting like that for any of the other strikes the whole fight.
Yeah. Maybe he got too relaxed in that last round, not thinking much of it, and got caught. Got caught. And that's why it's like anybody can beat anyone.
At any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And but you just I'm guilty because I did not think for one moment it was gonna be Usman caught like that.
Right? Right? With how complete of a fighter Usman has been, and just his chin with all the shots he's taken, and how well his defense has been this whole time, for just Leon to come out of nowhere and catch him clean like that. It just I was baffled by it, absolutely baffled. And it was a rocky moment. Like, that's gonna be part of his story forever now, because he went through so much adversity, and then he came through and he caught him in the last minute of the final round, where he had just 1 minute left to steal away that championship belt, and he got it. He got it. And I was like, holy hell.
The reaction from Usman to the punch was almost as if he was about to start showboating. It
Mm-hmm.
was almost as if that was about to be some type of, what I mean, show, because like I said, that was what was surprising to me more so than the kick. Once I actually slowed it back, I'm like, man, he overreacted, and he was so well temperamented the whole fight. And you know, Usman does have a tendency towards the end of a fight, if he hasn't knocked a fighter out already, to kind of feed into the entertainment portion of the crowd. And over his last fights, he's been so dominant, and to come back and quote unquote for the lap around and get Leon and be as close to the end as he was, I honestly think that that might have been a mental breakdown moment that we saw, and that was the result. And it just happened
Yeah.
quicker than we could see it really start to pan out.
Yeah. And like, when his Usman's reaction to after the fight, he was almost like pressured into it, or not he was saying that he was feeling pressured, and he almost has like a weight lift off his shoulder. He always ducks to the right with his hands down. Oh, okay. And then Leon probably made that read finally and caught him with it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, me myself, Andre, I haven't noticed that particular thing from him. Um, I'm gonna start watching for that. But even with that being said, I still think that was more of an overreaction than what he had given for most of the fight for any of the strikes Leon threw.
Yeah.
Now, that perfectly, I mean, on the flip side, as a fan, that is going to be a beautiful setup for this trilogy. And
Mm-hmm.
as a fan, that's probably one of the best results we could have gotten out of it, because Usman's been raping that division. I mean, he's been raking through it, and it's almost as if there was nobody left that was even going to give an opportunity to, or a slowdown moment for him. So
Yeah.
this was, surprising in two different ends on that aspect as well.
Yeah. What also impressed me too is also Leon. The fact that Leon came into this with such a long layoff period, because you saw he had the one fight against Bilal Muhammad, if I got his name right, but it ended
Mhm.
with eye poke, and then it never happened again. And then with Jorge, it canceled, and then he had the fight with Nate Diaz, and the Nate Diaz fight at the very end was the thing that caught that kind of like, especially everybody was like, oh shit, is he actually gonna last against Usman? Because the fact he let up at the last second like that got caught. But it's impressive. It's just impressive. And Leon, he definitely pulled a Rocky move, and it's gonna be a
I
beautiful setup for the trilogy fight.
And no, it is going to be a setup for the trilogy. But you bring me to a kind of a point there. I mean, because Bilal Muhammad to me has been rising up pretty quickly, up the ranks as well. And then I forgot the second one you named, but
Oh,
him
Nate
not
Diaz,
before
or no,
Nate.
no, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah,
Mazdaval. Oh yeah, the Mazdaval one. So with those two, I think he kind of got away, and I wonder if. You know what I mean? He leaves me on that kind of pedestal with him. Would he even have been in this position against Usman if the Bilal Muhammad thing didn't end with the eye poke, and then the Jorge Masvidal fight we saw that ended. So he kind of got lucky to me in a sense to even be here after he brought up those two points as well.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and it makes me especially curious to see, do they do the immediate trilogy fight rematch, or is Leon going to go for somebody else? Or I know that Jorge was calling for a fight, I think, but Leon and his coach was kind of like no, no, you get to sit back now and wait, because I mean Jorge right now is coming off of I think either a one or two fight losing streak, if I remember correctly.
Think it's two. Think
Yeah,
it's two because he lost the then he lost the baddest motherfucker fight, and then he lost I think a fight right before that fight. So I think he
yeah,
did lose two in a row.
yeah.
Um, no, I think you have to go Usman and Leon. We have to run it back right away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Usman's done more than enough in that division to where you can't. Uh, what up, Frankie? You always come in with a with a bang, man. Two
He's
weeks
got to
away,
represent it, Arizona.
2 weeks away from greatness, man. No, but I really, you have to run it back. Usman's done too much for the division. That'd be kind of disrespectful for Dana White to go any other direction because what type of reasoning could you have behind it of why they would be in front of Usman? Um,
Right.
You know what I mean? If this was the other way around, well, I mean, it wouldn't even work that way. But yeah, he's had what is he? How many title defenses he been? Like eight, nine,
Usman,
10?
yeah,
Like what the heck? So I think he was up there with one of the longest win streaks, and he was pushing towards that, alley. So I
yeah,
mean, when you look at that, and especially, dude, we gotta remember, Usman came from was it the Tough House? So um, you know, that whole road, him coming up the way he has, getting the belt, defending it the way he has, I mean, he's earned his right to demand. He shouldn't even have to demand. He should just
hmm,
roll up and sign the contract.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's gonna be. I wonder. Honestly, I can't even. I have a hard time even speculating how the trilogy fight would go either, just because of. I mean, look what happened. There's the. I know the matchmake or the betting odds is gonna be a nightmare. Drake definitely isn't gonna be betting the same again.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
He gonna
he's
get
gonna
it
bet
back.
Usman again.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna get it back. He's gonna make it a point. 'Cause- But but you know what? Bringing it back to that, like, what would the fight be like? Leon staying as far as way as possible.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
using
mean,
his
at that
kickboxing
point,
more.
yeah, and at that point, he's the champion. So he's going to stay as far away from those takedowns as possible.
Yeah.
And he didn't show me better hands in this fight either.
Yeah. And like you heard Leon say, he said like he beat him on his worst night.
Listen, bro.
That's what Leon said.
I mean, you're supposed to self promote, but dang, bro, like you got your you got your ass kicked. You got your ass kicked. So I don't. I'm gonna let him have his heyday. He's a champion. You can't, you can't say nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, but he caught him. He caught him at the end of the day. That's what counts.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what counts.
100%. Yeah. And
That's
then
what
I
counts.
know we saw the official retirement lock of Luke Rockhold too. Did you catch that fight?
Oh, that was the fight of the night. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that was literally the fight of the night. I don't know. That was, and then eh, I felt like if he lost this fight, he was gonna retire.
Yeah.
Um, just because of what has been going on with him and the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, what was it? 2 days before the fight? Was it media day that Dana said basically F the fighters? It's gonna stay the way it is.
I actually don't know. I
I
don't
think it
know.
was. I think it was media day.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't really catch much of the media just because I've been like working nonstop, but I know that Luke Rockhold was speaking out a lot on the fighter pay, like we were talking about before, and him kind of giving Dana White a lot of shit. And then he had some valid points too, and that's kind of the hard part with the subject is because there are valid points to it. And he did actually hold it up. But and then I know he also, what was it? I know also he almost had his leg amputated. He also had the broken jaw that he got from the Jan Blachowicz fight. And I was thinking that he was going to retire, especially from a health standpoint, because considering the times he got knocked out and how bad it was against Joe Romero, Bisping, and just then he break his he got his jaw broken by Jan Blachowicz and almost lost his leg. I don't know. It was a hard one, and I definitely feel for him and him. He definitely put on a show. I could definitely say that for a fact. He just did not give up at all.
No, and he's a fighter's fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you see when you think of a fighter like a MMA fighter, like that's what they are. He put on a great show, and he didn't want to get slept in you know, his last fight. Um,
Yeah.
but
The fact that he rubbed his blood onto Paulo Costa's face, that was legendary. That
dog,
was fucking epic.
that
I
was
was
so
like,
savage,
bro.
bro. That was so savage when he started doing it, and then he got up, and what's his name was like, that folks is Luke's blood on Paul's face.
Oh my god, that was awesome. Leave it to Luke
Oh man,
Rockhold to end it in such a badass fashion. Like that's respect, bro.
bro,
And Paulo
that
Costa in
was
his interview with the Schmo was all like, kind of like help me or some shit like that. He was cracking jokes about it.
it was a great performance by both of them. Fight of the
Yeah.
night by far.
Hmm.
So entertaining on so many different facets. We saw such a great, fight in the ring. To me, we saw um, what I don't think is going to be the end of the fight between Dana and Luke. I think it's
Hmm.
just begun. I think it's gonna go on a totally different level now, because that was the other thing though. Like you said, like he had a lot of great points. Like what happens after fighting?
Hmm.
What happens to my medical? Who takes care of that part? Like who takes care? There's so many other facets that he hit, and you know, basically from what Dana basically said, nah, it ain't changing. He says they get paid what they're supposed to, and that's what it is. But it seems like time and time again we're seeing fighters ready to pack up their bags overpay.
Yeah, and like all of the biggest stars have brought up a point in regards to it. I think you've obviously for Francis Ngannou is a number one who spoke out against it. Cole he may have it throughout Adesanya, but I'm not 100% sure if he has. Even Sean O'Malley too has also spoke on it. You know, he's of course he doesn't want to get on the bad side of Dana, or he doesn't want to necessarily seem biased, and he kind of gave fair points to both sides. But you've had a lot of the like top UFC stars and even some below that's kind of expressed that same distaste. Unless you have that high social media appeal, that pay-per-view draw, then it kind of leaves you in limbo. And then yeah, what happens with after the fight, you know, or after they end the career? Is the existing health issues that come from it, is it gonna be taken care of like you see similarly to like NFL or other sports, or are they just gonna be treated solely as like independent contractor, and then what happens after retirement is on their own liability?
And that's the thing too, man. We're watching, I think, the revolution, the start of, or kind of like the first half of the revolution of fighting. Like
Hmm.
we've talked about it a couple of times already, where look, you see fight, promotions like Bellator, One Fighting Championship, these other promotions out here that are starting to make more and more noise, and
Hmm.
sooner or later they're gonna have enough audience and enough pull to go out. I mean, Bellator to me, they already are right there.
Yeah.
And let Nagano, let Gain, let let a couple of these heavyweights say, you know what? Let both the Usmans, let Usman go back, beat Leon Edwards, call his brother and say, we're going to go Bellator. We're even as the champion. I'm going to just go to Bellator.
Yeah. And
That
all the
is
biggest
that
stars go over.
that right there. Boom. That would be that would be the start of the doomsday for the UFC as we know it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it'd ever go anywhere. I mean, they've done so much already. I think they're there, but as we know it, yeah.
Yeah. And even one championship too is another good example, because with one championship, if I remember correctly, they don't charge, if I remember correctly, for their fights. It's all organic growth. And when I saw like their numbers before uh reach out and impressions, it was in the I think it was had to have been anywhere from like 8 to 10 million over the last
Well,
year.
they got a strong presence overseas,
Hmm.
and that's big too because we got to remember where a lot of these, you know, not only are fighters. I mean, bro. I mean, uh, I think what is it, Nagano, Anisana. I mean,
Hmm.
Izzy, and then Usman. They're all from, I believe, from Africa. Um,
Yeah.
and then we got Charles. Charles, I think, is what, Brazilian, right?
Yeah, he's from Brazil.
So I mean, they're just with those four alone. I mean, we're not even. It's not even our tops are not even American. So with
Mhm.
them having such a strong pull overseas, that's huge already.
Exactly. And you know, one championship also owns Rough Nation, or they bought out Rough Nation, and one championship has a stronger presence going in America now. And I think that's why too, Dana White or the UFC, if I remember correctly, they did actually start like some type of contender series, or like another type of show to get a contract for fighters, and they're doing it out in Singapore, which is where one championship is based. So now you're seeing the UFC now starting to compete with one championship in order to keep that extra step ahead.
Well, have you've seen the Brave, right?
Brave. All right.
Hmm.
Are you talking about the movie?
No. See, okay. So they're another big um, MMA Muay Thai type promotion.
Okay.
They're solely overseas. They don't have
Oh,
hardly
okay.
any audience out here.
That's
But
probably
one
why I
thing
haven't heard
about
them.
them, they're huge. they're huge. If they take a drop of what we can offer out here in America, they're gonna jump leaps and bounds ahead of most of these.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing about the UFC. I don't think I'm sure Dana is a smart businessman. I mean, obviously he's done what he's done, but I don't know if he's paying attention to how fast these other organizations are growing. And if you don't get your stuff together, we love the UFC and we love what that brand is, like me and you talked about, but
Mm-hmm.
it could be
Yeah.
switched up.
Yeah, exactly. And if their biggest pay-per-view draws switch over like that, that's gonna be like it'd be unfortunate for that having to be the wake-up call. Like if, say, in Unganu, Izzy, Usman, they all decided to move over, even Sean O'Malley. I mean, you look at even like Demetrius Johnson and Eddie Alvarez when they switched over to different when they switched over to Bellator and whatnot. Even Demetrius Johnson's career was still continuing, and it especially kind of helped up the ante with Bellator and the type of fighters they're bringing in. So if more of the higher social media draws of UFC fighters, they start moving over. I think that'll be the special wake up call that Dana and UFC would need in order to start increasing the pay. Because I mean, to be fair, 50,000 fight bonus, I feel like it could be more. It could be more compared to how much money they bring in for the event.
I mean, yeah. And on top of that, when like you said, well, the main drawers they get higher pay. Well, they gotta get higher pay because, like we
Hmm.
said, how much money are these dudes bringing in? So, I mean, it's a messed up situation at the end of the day, though.
Yeah,
Because I enjoy the UFC brand, um, and I like Bellator too, though. So, I
yeah.
mean, it won't be a loss. I mean, the only thing that they'll have to do is Bellator have to go sign Bruce Buffer.
They have to get
If
the
they
proper announcer.
Yeah, if they don't get Bruce Buffer, I don't care who they get. You can bring whoever you want over there. If you ain't got Bruce Buffer, we ain't ready to fight.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, but on a serious note, though, that would be the end of it. That would be the
Hmm.
solve all. If they just get band together and say, you know what, we're gonna us champions, we're just gonna walk.
Yeah. It set the precedent too for all the fighters below them, that doesn't have as much pull, because like part of the unfortunate reality of in the fighting industry is that there are natural exploitations that exist in the industry, and the fighters that are on the bottom of the spectrum or even just upcoming, they run the risk of speaking out and they could have the sheep pulled out from underneath them and whatnot. And it's
Right.
happened before. And like you kind of see like the same kind of situation with like Nate Diaz, for example, in previous fights. And I'm trying to think of who else.
This fight, this fight right here, this is basically his go away fight, and
Hmm.
he's fighting the number 3 ranked fighter. And I mean, for what?
Exactly. Exactly. There was some rumors and speculation that Nate Diaz could jump immediately to a title shot, but truthfully, I don't think that would happen. I don't think that would happen at all, especially considering the relationship currently between Nate Diaz and the UFC. That's the hard nit bit.
Is that Dana's way of saving Nate in his relationship though? Because I mean, if he comes out and he beats him, he's a free agent after that,
Hmm.
and Nate and him have already had issues. So is
Yeah.
that Dana's way of setting up a situation where he can possibly, dang mosquito, he can possibly um, re-sign him, repair that, and re-sign him?
Yeah. And Nate would have that with especially big upset like that, he'd have even more leverage arguing for pay for himself, even.
I mean, definitely.
Hmm.
You know, but again, I know Nate's a little older, but that's another guy. He go over to Bellator.
And
that
boom.
he's gonna bring. Yeah, he's gonna bring that pull.
Yeah. Or if he does decide to box Jake Paul, that's going to bring more revenue and over to
Oh
the
my
boxing
goodness.
industry because people are going to be wanting to watch that fight event, that fight happen before any type of other like UFC or Bellator fight. Of course, depending on who's on the card, because sometimes it could bounce out. But yeah, no, I think
I'll
that'd
tell
be a
you
hard
right
one.
now. I'll tell you right now. If Jake plans on paying someone to lose, it is not going to be him.
Hmm.
He
Nate
about to
Diaz
put some
don't give a
paws on you.
fuck.
Nope, he about to put some paws on you. He really is. Um, was there any other fights last weekend that stood out to you? That you want to mention or
Uh, Honestly, not that I can think of. I think Jose Masvidal, not Jose Masvidal, Jose Aldo. I think he may have retired, but I don't know about that one.
I didn't see him say it that I can remember. I don't remember
Yeah,
him saying he retired, but he should. Um,
yeah. I mean, he's already done so much for the sport. He's fought some hard fights
he's
too.
a
Even
legend.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, he
he's
went to
already legend status.
yeah.
Um, what about Lucy and Wu? That was a really good fight. The woman fight. Um, that was a really good fight.
Was it?
Yeah, that was a really good
Okay,
fight.
that one I think I missed. I know that I heard their names. They were on the card, but I think I missed that one. But was it a good fight?
Yeah, yeah. Lucy won by knockout, second round
Oh,
TKO. Yeah, it was a really good fight.
nice.
Um, oh, uh, the Tibura and Romanov, that was a good fight too. That was a good fight too. That went 3 rounds, and I think it was a decision. But that was a really good fight as well. I thought
Was
Romanov
it?
won, honestly. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Was it like a lot of were they up most of the time doing stand up, or were they kind of, or just
they
kind of
were
give me a breakdown of the
both.
fight since I missed it?
I mean, to me, when they were going at it, Romanov was getting them. But Tavera, we talked about this. Tavera took him down, and he did control him on the ground, but he didn't do a lot of damage.
Mm.
To like from what I seen, from my point of view, it was just more of a smother and hold. Um, he tried. Obviously he put in a little bit of work because they didn't stand him up. But I would have preferred him to get him up more often. Um, Honestly, they could run it back. It was a good fight. I think it was a good
Yeah.
fight. It could have been better though, on the
Oh yeah.
standpoint of them not laying on the ground as much, but when they did, so. But yeah, outside of that, I was trying to accelerate the rest of the fights and get to the main event because that and it lived up to it for real.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. And are you excited for this next one coming up? Because I know we got it was September 3rd. We'll have Cyril Gain versus Tai Tuvasa. That one's going to be an interesting matchup. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting matchup as well. I mean, Gain is. Let's see, is this the one? No, not this one. Hold on, let me get you the right one. But yeah, uh, it's always good to see Gain. He's one of those heavyweights that is agile and
Hmm.
just athletic. Um, and it shows like way more than the other heavyweights. You can see
Yeah.
like huge difference when Gay gets in the cage. He turns that energy up for real, and so I'm excited, especially about this one.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then Tuvasa, to it, I forget how to pronounce his name sometimes, but Ty, he got heavy hands,
Yeah.
heavy hands, and when he connects. Um, so it's gonna be a good one. I always think Ty
Hmm.
has a chance to. He always has a chance to win, no matter who he's up against.
Yeah. And like you've seen both fighters, they both TKO KO Derek Lewis, which was massive upsets and was crazy. So that's a tough matchup too, because the fact that Cyril Gain, he's so quick, he's so agile, he's so light on his feet, especially for a heavyweight, but he's so skilled. He's so refined with how he takes their approach and how he picks his shots and how he lands them. And then you have Tai Tuivasa on the other hand, who's just got concrete for hands, and he could sleep you. He could sleep you, and he's got a good chin. He's a good all around fighter, and he's just he's a badass too. That's why I edge it a bit over to Gain because the technical standpoint, but I don't
Yeah.
rule it out that Ty could pull it off.
Well, Tuivasa is like he's one of those heavyweights. Like, okay, first of all, before I even get into that, you're right. The Derek Lewis thing is huge, and that's
Mm,
what changes. And that's what puts them two in such a weird position if to be start choosing. But I would have to edge it to Gain simply off the fact that he's more athletic, more agile. He has that energy, and he can tire a big guy like two of us out. Um,
mm,
just with his movements alone. So, um, but two of us, man, concrete for hands.
mm,
That's a good way to describe it. I don't know, man. If he touches you, you are going night night.
mm-hmm.
That's how it's been. So I can't wait for this one though. This is gonna be
Yeah,
really good. Um, I don't think he gets past the second round.
yeah, I agree. I feel like this is going to be a pretty quick fight in a sense that it'll be either like late in the first or somewhere in the second. And what I was thinking about too is what with the result, what happens next for them. Because I know Gain, he's coming off of just fighting for the title. So if he wins, he could probably get the immediate rematch against Ngannou, or Tai Tuivasa could finally be in line for a shot for it. Or actually, wait a second. I think Stipe and John Jones are actually fighting for the interim. Is that right?
Yeah, so this division right now is a clusterfuck. Excuse my French, but that's the best we can say. Like, because
I
it's
agree.
different. It's different than any other division.
Mhm.
Gain Tuivasa, I can say right now any one of them, whoever wins this match, they do deserve a title shot. But then you got Streep and John Jones in there, and if John Jones loses, oh, Streep is requesting a title shot because he just beat John
Mhm.
Jones.
Yeah.
But if John Jones wins, even though he's had such a long layoff, rightfully so, he's still kind of the champ, and we still gotta kind of give him his shot at it as well. So it puts in a position where Gain and Tui, no matter what happens in this fight, they might be sitting around waiting
Yeah.
because you don't want to just take a fight just to take a fight if you're about to fight for the title.
Yeah. Exactly. Especially if a lost man just pulls out and then it strips the opportunity away. And I wonder too if they would, whoever wins the Stipe versus John Jones fight, if they would go ahead and follow up with either unifying the belt, or if they'll have the winner of Gain versus Tuvasa fight the winner of the interim belt. So yeah, it's a clusterfuck, as you said. It's a very big mix up. You got four guys that, depending on how they put it, can get a title shot, but you don't know which one is actually going to get it.
Right. Let's just bring this up. So we got Gain Tuvasa. They got Gain looking like the favorite here.
Yeah,
Then we
there's the
got
number one.
Whitaker and Vittori. How are you
That
feeling
one.
about this fight?
That one. That one, it's got my nerves going because I don't know which way it's gonna go. I don't know which way it's gonna go. I have bias towards Whitaker because I like him as a fighter. He's the Reaper, man. He's the Reaper, and it's just other than Izzy, he's just been an all around dominant fighter. But Vittori, he's got that Mark Hunt chin. He'll just eat the shots for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But we've seen in the past that can be a downside for some fighters when you get the
Mm.
wrong person. And Robert Whitaker does qualify in every single facet as the wrong person to do that
Exactly. Exactly. He's the
with.
Reaper, man.
I mean, if that's his plan, which I guarantee it's not, but if that's his plan to eat shots for dinner, and I'm not talking tequila, but if that's his plan to eat shots for dinner, man, like he's gonna be snoring, and I hope they
Yeah.
have memory foam for him.
Yeah. You know, Whitaker, he's got that sneaky kick because he loves that 1-2 and the kind of that wide kick. And I remember, I forget the dude's name, or something Fitch. He's a former
Fitch,
fighter as well.
Fitch,
Yeah. And he had commented that the way that Robert sets up his kick, but the way he has his hips positioned, he can immediately follow up afterwards. And he's caught people with that many times. And even with the follow up, and I would be really interested to see if Robert can land that on Vettori and if he could get him, because I think Whitaker is going to have a bit of a size disadvantage. But if he utilizes his exactly what he's been doing, I feel like he could have an edge over Vettori for sure.
and honestly, in this particular situation, I don't know if it's gonna be an issue for him because he that looping right hand is deadly, and him throwing, and he likes to aim for that chin. So having that looping right hand and see him slide, because he's not that much bigger than taller than him at all. So, but having that chin right there, I think that's going to actually be a benefit for him in this particular situation because Vittori keeps his chin up.
Hmm.
The other thing is though, what happens with these two after this? Because this is kind of like a fight where Whitaker's at a dead end.
Honestly,
Is
you
he?
both
Was it?
Yeah, they both have lost twice to Izzy, and it's kind of hard to get a trilogy fight like that when the first two wins was the champ. But I mean, the second Whitaker fight was a very close one, so there could be a possible argument that Whitaker could get the trilogy fight. But Vettori, I don't know. I don't know. He maybe at least one or two more fights.
Yeah, I kind of said it backwards. I mean, Vittori is definitely a dead end, but Whitaker is too. I mean, Whitaker has more, like you said, more of a chance. And I think Whitaker has done enough and done people badly enough that he will eventually get it.
Hmm.
Now, I say that at the same time, is Izzy going to move up or something soon? Because he's kind of done with this division as well,
Yeah,
and we've talked about it. So
I love to see him get a rematch with Jan Blachowicz.
that, I mean, I don't know. Izzy's in a weird spot.
Yeah,
Izzy's in that John Jones spot before Cormier came up, and I mean, for Cormier came out of retirement and whooped him
yeah, yeah. But hey, I
because
know he's
Jones
got
is whooping
the
everybody.
yeah. I just recently saw John Jones. He posted something still kind of arguing his cases, the pound for pound against Habib, which to be fair is a valid point. It showed like Habib has 13 fights in the UFC, but John Jones, he has 14 title wins in the UFC. That's a very big difference, I feel.
Right, and that's why when we were talking about Usman earlier, it's the same thing. He's defended the titles for so long, like you have to throw it right back at him.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's why it's hard too with the spot with the heavyweight division because I mean, yeah, John Jones, he's had the long layoff and just everything that he's been going through. And people can argue that kind of is an unfair advantage for him to immediately shoot for the interim belt. But at the same time, nobody stopped him. Nobody stopped him. I feel that Dominic Reyes was kind of stolen the decision just because of the difference in volume and the amount of strikes thrown and landed. But otherwise, John Jones, he can't be beat. He can't be beat.
And that is the problem. And until they beat him, you can't say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got some other stuff coming up, some hot cards. So we'll talk about those later on. But
Mhm.
I think this is a good episode. I think this is a good place to end. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down. I don't know. Did you still want to talk about my interview with Casey, or probably, or
Oh
bro? How did
yeah,
I from watching Looney Tunes and somehow ended up here? What, Mac Hughes?
that's a good thing. It's called algorithm. We're working
Exactly.
on it.
Exactly. But yeah, no. So I recently had my interview with Cutman Casey Decker. Boy, he's fucking hilarious. He is hilarious.
Yes, he is. I was watching some of it, and there was just some segments where I was dying. The dude is hilarious. He's a great storyteller, first of all. And
Yeah, he
then not
is.
only is he a great storyteller, he has some great freaking stories to tell. I was like, dude, what? uh,
Exactly. The way that
uh,
his joke. So I forget which clip it was, but when he was talking about how like some of his friends are talking about how they have to go through weight cut and it sucks and everything, he's like, I'm gonna go buy a box of donuts." I fucking
yeah,
died laughing, bro.
bro. Hold on,
Uh,
I got it pulled up. I'll play one of the segments I did like because he was talking about, dude. You see how he's a great storyteller,
yeah, he is. He's very animated too with the way he talks.
right? That's what
True.
makes him a great storyteller.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. So that's how you originally kind of got into it and you started reaching out, and then it branched off to where you had the opportunity in Prescott Valley. So were you originally intending to be a cut man getting into it, or did you originally start off on a different area?
I
Look at
started off
handsome
with
man.
boxing, and
This part
you know,
was so funny,
it
man.
was a different
He's
world
he talked about the
back in
backyard
even in the
wrestling.
90s,
Mm-hmm.
where like you would make friends and like, oh, I train at this school and we do karate, and I train at this school we do kung fu, and we'd get together and show each other things and spar and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of ground fighting just never occurred to us. And then I believe it was in Black Belt magazine. We saw an ad for the first UFC, and we thought this was going to be like pro wrestling.
Oh.
The way it was marketed, we thought it was going to be like a, hey, we're going to, pro wrestling, like WWE, WCW type thing. So we got the pay-per-view, and that first fight, he kicked his tooth out. We're like, well, what the hell is this? And then, all right, it's cool. And then we saw Hoist, and here's this little guy in a gi on his back, and we're like, why would you be on your back? And he's submitting people and choking people, and we're like, what the hell is this stuff? We'd never heard of jiu-jitsu before, and
Mm-hmm.
it was completely like blew our minds. We're like, wait a minute, you could fight off your back, and at that time where we're at, there was no jiu-jitsu schools around us, so we were,
Yeah.
rewatching what he was doing and trying it, and we were probably terrible. I mean, we were probably absolutely horrible. Just the little nuances that you get with having a coach or like a good instructable, and we're trying to do arm bars. I don't think we ever did one right.
Oh man, no, he's a great storyteller. If you haven't seen that interview, definitely go on to Josh Said What. It's YouTube. It's there. You can watch that. But yeah, no. How did that come about?
How I got the interview with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just so this it made me feel so good, the fact that it happened. But when I was fight day, got there early to go and start setting up and everything, and then met up with Casey. I was like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" And then his first response is, "I'm doing good, man. When am I gonna be on your podcast?" And that right there, I knew it. I knew. I was like, "Yes." I was already thinking of asking you, dude. I was already thinking of it, and then I hit him up on Messenger. We planned it out, and dude, he's such a chill dude, the most handsome man with a mustache.
It's the mustache for me every time. It's the mustache for me every time. You see these fighters all cut up, and you see him over there doing his thing, and it just, I'll be like,
Yeah,
you know what?
Exactly. He looks like a cut man. He pulls it off perfectly. And he's such a character too. Like we keep saying, the way he animates, the way he talks, he uses his words. Like when he was talking about explaining how medical personnel are the hardest ones to treat or to teach cut skills because they want to diagnose it, they want to figure it out, they're gonna treat it and everything, clean it up. When a cut man, you only got 45 seconds in between rounds. You just want to patch it and clean it up the best you can, and then let them go back out there again. And it was just, he's such a great dude. He's such a great dude to talk to, and he's fucking hilarious, bro. He's hilarious.
He really is. He really is. Let me see if I can.
That cake is good clip. Oh my god, he had me dying with that because he was so straight faced talking about like, it's great. I get to have fun. I get to do jujitsu and kickboxing with my kid, and I don't have to worry about weight or anything. I can eat whatever I want because cake is good.
I'm trying to find it.
Let me see. Here, I'll try.
It was
to
towards
send
the end, wasn't it?
I was a bit in the middle. I could send you because I made a clip just for it. So let me pull it up real quick. And share. And where you at? There we go. I just sent it to you on Messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I had a clip. I had to make a clip of it because his setup for it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and that's why I knew it too. It's like algorithms will love it. Just title it "Cake is Good."
Man. Okay. Yeah, that was a good one. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Boom. Okay. All right. I got it. Let me pull it up.
In the meantime, I'll solve my Rubik's Cube.
All right. Here we go.
Right now, out of a place called Union Combat, we're a small gym in Mesa. We had the misfortune of opening up like December of 2019.
Oh no!
So, and people are like, "Why would you guys open up?" Right? We're like, "Hey, it takes time. You don't just say, hey, we're opening up, and the doors are open."
Mhm.
So, I believe our head coach Sean started the process in September, October of 2019. Looking for a December open date. So opening in right before the lockdowns was, it's bad luck.
Yeah.
We're pretty small gym. Most of our guys are competing in like Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. My son, my youngest, I just really got into it. So I've been going
That's
with
probably
him,
where it gets funny.
kind of coaching him in Jiu-Jitsu, and then kind of helping out the boxing coach, Coach Tony over there, who's doing great things. And he's picking it up. It's a weird phenomenon. It's like training snakes to bite you. I'm like, great, he's 13. I'm 43. At some point, he's gonna be able to whoop my ass. Teach him how to do it.
That's awesome.
He'll have me taking the trash out. No, you take trash out. Okay, trash out.
Like, son, can you do dishes, please? I was like, no, don't hit me.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it's fun. Being in there with him, watching him grow, and
Yeah. And plus,
gets
it's such a great bonding experience too.
yeah,
And
and
the cake part will be coming up in a second.
That's the main thing right now. I'm not going to compete ever again, probably. At this age. So it's kind of fun just to go in there to have fun. With it. My only goal is to have fun and stay a little exercise. So that's kind of fun. And I don't have to worry about weight, which is nice because cake is good. Burritos.
For
It's been
real.
so many years, with high school wrestling, I was so worried about my weight that now that I don't have
It
to,
was so freaking hilarious.
I can eat whatever I want.
Yeah, there
It
you
doesn't
go.
matter. I'm like, we used to, I don't know what kind of cruel twist of fate put like wrestling season in the middle of feasting season. like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, but you got to meet at Saturday. So, you know, you get to have like a little morsel of each thing, you know. I mean, why would they do that? I don't know. It's just bad luck, you know.
Those
It's
animals.
like right after Halloween and Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's all the, you know, the fun like time you get to like feast, and nope, you're in wrestling practice, and you know, you're half a pound over, so you aren't doing anything.
Yeah, that sucks. The torture. Like that's why you have to be a certified psychopath in order to get into all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was good. That was good. Yeah, again, if you have not seen it, go check it out. It was a good interview.
Yeah, and Josh Said What, and I have it's on the sub channel Josh Said What clips, so you definitely check it out on there. And dude, it's just I usually make about 8 to 9 clips per each episode, and I put it on there. And so actually I have another one coming out next week. It's with the owner of a smoke shop here in Havasu. I'm gonna have like 12, 13 clips for it.
Nice. Definitely, man. You know, before we get out of here, anything you want to say? Any final words? You know how we do.
Thank you for having me again on, man. It's always a pleasure being on here. Definitely stay tuned, guys. Not this coming week, but the following week. I should also have an interview with amateur fighter Besnik Gashi coming out. So hopefully I could get it out next Monday. So you guys definitely stay tuned. And then give some love and give a shout out to my boy James over here. He's a certified badass. He's slick too. He's got the beautiful goatee. You know, even I can't do it. I can't do it.
Right. Come on now. Come on. Josh got it. No, but definitely, man, tune in. I think next week we're gonna change the day to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right? Tuesday, 8
Yeah.
p.m. Pacific. Yeah, but other than that, you know where to catch us. We'll be here again next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
Rebel soul child got a fist ball. I'm a respawn of ancestors, and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up. I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless. Yeah, I got next up, right? No, we're not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride. You do